As you've learned how to set goals and make plans, and use reflection and discipline in your life, you probably wrote down her wealth on your list of ambitions. Maybe you didn't just want to earn enough to get by, maybe you wanted a specific amount of money. It could be $50,000 a year for some, $500,000 for others, or even $1 million. It doesn't matter, you probably wrote down what you think you can earn if you really try your best, for the next year, 3 years, 5 years, or even in your whole life. And most people would see that amount as being rich, achieving your biggest dreams, and being rewarded for your hard work. I'm not talking about feeling proud of yourself, I'm talking about the real benefits of being ambitious. How much knowledge and spirit should you have? As much as you can. How much money and investment should you have? As much as you can. But I'm not saying be greedy, I mean getting rewarded for helping others, not hurting them. Is it okay to want success? Is it okay to want to be rich? Many people struggle with the idea of being rich. They think rich people are bad, they have no morals, they're ruthless, they don't care. But that's not always true. Some rich people are like that, but so are some poor people. Being corrupt isn't about being rich, it's about getting ahead by hurting others. That's wrong. But being wealthy isn't wrong. Being wealthy means finding your talents and using them to take care of yourself and others. I really think that growing, succeeding, prospering, and finding happiness are natural things for us to do. So, here's what I've learned to do to change the words rich and wealthy. I call it becoming financially independent. That's a bit easier because some people think that to be rich or wealthy, you have to hurt others, lie, or forget about values. If being rich bothers you, don't aim for riches. Some people say that the Bible says it's hard for a rich person to get to heaven. I say, well, that's okay with me, it didn't say it was impossible, just hard. I don't mind a little challenge. Also, the Bible says that the meek will inherit the earth, but where does it say you have to be poor to be meek? No, the Bible doesn't say you have to be poor, that's just how some people interpret it. It's a poor excuse that lazy people use to justify why they're not making progress. It's for people who give up when things get tough, people who don't even try. For everyone born in America or who comes here, part of what you get is the chance to become financially independent in a country full of hope and promise. It's our heritage and our right to achieve all the good things, including personal wealth. I know a smart guy who has an MBA from Harvard and an engineering degree from MIT. He's semi-retired now and enjoys teaching. He teaches college classes in economics and business planning. But when he talks about economics, he also talks about personal money matters. This is how he starts his classes: decide how you want to live now versus how long you want to work. If you spend all your money now, you'll have to work longer and harder. But if you start saving and investing now, you'll have options later. You could retire early, travel more, or even start a new career later in life. It's all about making choices. Think about tomorrow today so you can live better tomorrow. Another thing to consider for your financial future: be cautious with your credit cards. Selling money is a big business. You probably get offers in the mail to sign up for new credit cards a few times a month. Having some credit cards can be useful, especially for travel. It's safer than carrying cash and easier to keep track of. But be careful. It can be tough. When you use a credit card to buy something, you don't feel the impact until you get the bill. So, make sure you're still happy with your purchases when the bill comes. And be cautious with credit, it's the easiest way to end up in debt. Only go into debt when you really need to, not just because it's a habit. If your business involves a lot of risk and you're an entrepreneur, keep your debt in your business, not your personal life. I know this can be tough because most lenders ask for personal guarantees. So, plan your debt just like you plan your wealth. Another thing to remember about becoming financially independent: getting rich quickly is hard, but getting rich slowly is easier. Whether you're using the 70-10-10-10 rule or something else, it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, especially with safe investments. You have to keep adding value to your future a little bit every month. Building your wealth and independence takes time. There's a saying about investing, it's about time, not timing. The saying goes, time, it takes time. If you're into playing the stock market, then you know timing is a whole different story. But for most people, it's about time. A study looked at stock market investments. In one scenario, stocks were bought at the worst time and sold at the worst time over 40 years, buying high and selling low. After 40 years, the average return was around 10%. This scenario focused on time. In the second scenario, stocks were analyzed over 10 years, dealing with timing. Stocks were bought at the best time and sold at the best time. After 10 years, the average return was still around 10%. So, be patient in building your financial independence. It takes small steps and little advantages over time. Being patient can be tough, but it's like building your ambition and reaching your goals, one step at a time. But what if patience isn't part of building financial independence? What about those lucky ones who are born into wealth, never having to work a day in their lives? They get fancy cars, big houses, and cushy jobs at their parents' companies right off the bat. What about them? Some might say, it's not fair. I work so hard all my life, but I'll never have that kind of money. Well, some things aren't fair, like inheriting money. But what does that have to do with you? If you want more financial independence than some people you know, then you need to work harder and smarter on your goals and stop worrying about what's fair or not. Instead of focusing on what's keeping others ahead, look at what's holding you back. Look at what you're doing, focus on yourself. There are lots of stories of people who started with nothing and worked hard until they had more than they ever imagined. Learn from their experiences instead of envying those who were born rich. And what if you decided you wanted to be rich? What if you really focused on your ambitions and your life started getting better? Besides getting on the right path, making more money, spending less, saving and investing more, and helping others, there might also be some disappointments. One of them could be with your friends. Some people might not be happy with your success. They might criticize you for doing well or even stop being your friend because you're trying to improve yourself. They might stay where they are and say things like, "He's forgotten about us now that he's doing so well," and probably more than that. They might huddle together and say things to make themselves feel better about not doing much. But remember, those who choose to stay where they are have chosen a path of averageness, of being just okay. Those who've risen above often wish they could go back to their old friends, to help them get out of their rut and share hope and inspiration. But it's hard, jealousy creates a big barrier that's tough to break. So, as you change, your life changes, your friends change, and that's part of success. Things are always changing as you become the person you want to be. There are lots of reasons why people don't aim higher or try to be their best. There are many reasons, but just one is enough. We talked about lots of fears before, but here's one we didn't discuss: risk. Every job has its own level of risk. There's a saying, no risk, no reward. Maybe that's true in life, I don't know. It's up to you to decide how much risk you're okay with when it comes to your life, your future, and your money. It's your choice. What I do know is that there are different kinds of ambition, and each has its own reward. A salesperson's ambitions are different from a manager's. An entrepreneur's ambitions are different from an artist's or a teacher's. With different ambitions come different levels of risk and reward. Salespeople might handle risk better than managers, and the higher the risk, the higher the potential reward. Entrepreneurs often take even more risks, they have to chase their dreams. Your ambition level might not match how much risk you can handle. Most people can't handle lots of failures on the way to success. Only a few, even among the most ambitious, can keep going despite the risks. Whatever your ambition level, keep going until you reach your goal. Riskier ambitions need stability in your personal life to balance things out. If your business means everything to you, make sure everything's okay at home. John D. Rockefeller was careful with his personal spending but took big investment risks that scared others. As you work on your financial plan, aim to live off 70% of your income. Start by making a plan, even if it's not perfect. Saving money now will help you be financially independent later. With financial independence comes freedom and choices you've never had before.